Hi families, just a review of some of the properties of multiplication that we've learned about this year. Easy. Commutative property just tells us that 3 times 2 is the same as 2 times 3. The order of the factors does not matter. So if I had 4 times 7, it would give me the same answer, 28, as 7 times 4, which is also 28. This means that even when we're doing things like area, length times width, it's important to keep that order. So if I had 4 times 7, but maybe I didn't necessarily want to count by 7s, I could switch it and count by 4s because that's easier for me. The next one is the associative property, and that just tells us that the order of multiple factors doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which ones we solve first. So I could choose to do 3 times 4 first. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. Or I could choose to do 4 times 2 first. Put my parentheses. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. My total did not change at all, but you can change around the order to make the numbers easier to work with. I think 8 times 3 is an easier number sentence to solve than 12 times 2. Again, both of these properties only work for multiplication, so we cannot change the order of division equations because they always start with the total. This is the newest one and probably the hardest one. It's the distributive property. Distributive property breaks down multiplication equations so that they're easier for us to solve. This will also come into play with area when we have very large shapes with very large areas, or when we have those shapes that I was showing you on the area video that look kind of like that or are not perfect squares or rectangles. So this is my multiplication equation, 4 times 13. I don't know how to skip count by 4 13 times. I don't know how to skip count by 13. What I can do is break apart my larger factor. 13 I'm going to break up into 10 and 3. 10 plus 3 equals 13. Again, kids might try to come up with factors for their larger factors, so they might try to find numbers that multiply together to get this, but that's not how we break it up. We break it up into numbers that can be added together to get our larger factor. So now I kept this factor the same. What I need to do is write smaller multiplication equations that will help me solve. So I can do 4 times 10 and add it to 4 times 3. I have to use parentheses to separate the order in which I solve this. We find the products first and then we add them together. So my parentheses would go around 4 times 10, they would go around 4 times 3, and then I would add in the middle to show that I add up these two products. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 3 is 12. I add these two together. So 4 times 13 equals 52. There's another way that we can also write these equations. Because I kept this factor the same, this 4, I can also put it on the outside of my parentheses. So I can show that factor first, and then I can show in parentheses how I break up my larger factor, the 13, into 10 plus 3. That's a little harder because the parentheses are around the 10 plus 3, so that tells us to put that together first and do that step first. So that, again, gives us the same equation of 4 times 13. We can look at this equation, however, and say, okay, first I multiply my 4 by the first number. Then I multiply my 4 by the second number. So those are just 3 different ways of writing the same equation and breaking up the larger equation into smaller ones so that we can easily find the product. Thanks, families.